Hello and welcome to a game between oGsTOP and oGsZenio. TOP will be playing as the blue Terran player on the left hand side, whereas Zenio will be playing as the red Zerg player on the right hand side. This is game number 4 between these two players, and the game numbers 1 through 3 was pretty fun to watch. They had a lot of very different tactics than what we're normally used to, and it appears that he is going to be building the barracks inside a little smoke screen here near his natural expansion, and the rally point is going to be set to the outside of the natural expansion for the Zerg player Zenio. oGsZenio has not yet put down a spawning pool. He does have 15 drones, and there's also going to be another refinery going up inside the base of TOP, as I think the first drone is going to go and set up a hatchery. The hatchery will go down, and there's going to be 14 drones left. Meanwhile, Zenio will have spotted the supply depot with his overlord, but he doesn't see the barracks that is being constructed slightly further away, so he probably will figure out that there is going to be some sort of marine pressure very early. He is going to put down the extractor after, and there's still not a spawning pool. The spawning pool just went up at around 14 once again, and SCV is coming to the natural expansion of his opponent. He will see that his opponent Zenio has already expanded, and TOP at this time is going to be making a lot of marines, I believe. He really does like this choice of barracks into marines. I think in game number 3 he didn't even have that many attachments. All he had were marines and more marines, and that worked out, or maybe not. You have to check it out. I don't want to spoil the games for you. And there's going to be a bunker being set up right next to the smoke screen, but I believe this overlord, he does have vision of it because he is flying, and flying units are overpowered, and the supply depot is going to be constructed next to the other supply depot. He is probably thinking about finishing off that wall in. There's an SCV inside the base of Zenio, and the first marine is going to let that overlord know that, hey, I have a bunker here and I see you over there. The army size is at 21 versus 22. There is no attacking units for the Zerg player at the moment. He is going to be making 6 of those Zerglings along with 1 queen, as well as the metabolic boost, and 2 of those Zerglings are already out on the field. I don't think he wants to engage here, as there are 2 SCVs. These are like the tanks for the marine. The marines will be able to do damage from a range. Too bad they can't heal the marine, but they could definitely heal each other if they want to. And there's going to be more and more marines coming, and there's also going to be a factory, and this barracks has been non-stop making all those marines, and SCV is going to come in here, is scouting his opponent. I believe he did see that Bailing's Nest, but he is going to switch it up here. So his opponent, thinking that is a Bailing's Nest, is actually a Roach Warren at this moment, so he doesn't know that roaches are coming. He suspects Bailings, and there's going to be a hatchery along with a few Zerglings sitting at both locations, not really wanting to go and engage his opponent because he doesn't have sufficient resources, and he is going to lose some of these Zerglings, but at the same time he does kill off an SCV. The units lost tab does show a slight advantage for the Terran player, as he's trying to prevent his opponent from expanding, I suppose. This bunker is set in a slightly weird position because it is going to be open from pretty much all sides, and it's not really preventing anything. He's not preventing his Zerglings from going to the natural expansion, but some of the Zerglings will sneak by, and these marines will come outside the bunker. The marines are going to come in here on the side, potentially do some harass. We do see Hellion along with the pre-igniter is being researched at this moment, and these Zerglings are getting slaughtered by the marines. Very nice micro there, and we can see that he is going to be very well ahead in terms of the units lost at, because he is burning up a lot of those Zerglings, killing those Zerglings, and killing some probes here, and he might also be able to take down some of those overlords. This is a very nice advantage for the Terran player, as he's managed to not supply block his opponent, but he is going to have managed to kill off a lot of stuff, and he should probably salvage his bunker. He does have about double the minerals in terms of minerals lost for the Zerg player Zenio, and TOP is going to fly back his barracks into his base, and he is also going to be making more and more barracks. He will have 3 barracks. None of them have any add-ons. That only add-on is on a tech lab next to the factory, and the factory is going to be making Hellions along with the Inferno pre-igniter. And at this moment, the Zerg player does have an income lead. It only is about 50 or 60%. I say only because sometimes the mules will help quite significantly, and if you were to continuously mule, that would not make too big of a difference. But of course, any difference is a difference, and here we go. Zenio does spot those Hellions coming across, and he will have some time to react. He does have some Zerglings, and I think only 1 roach. 2 more roaches are being made. He is running the Zerglings back. He is trying to get us around on these units, but he can't. But he only only loses 2 of those Zerglings. Not too bad there. And additional units are being produced, and another barracks is going to be constructed. There's going to be a total of 4 barracks, along with 1 factory with tech lab. It looks like at the moment the Terran player TOP is actually supply blocking himself a little bit, and the Roach is going to be okay versus these flames. He wanted to engage those Hellions, but the Hellions are simply too fast. If only Roaches had wheels on their feet instead of little sticky pads that make them move really slow. And the Overlord is going to get shot at by the Marine, while these 3 Hellions are going to check around the map for any hidden expansions, but he will not find any. Once again, this time it looks like Zenio is actually supply block, as both of them are at 58 and 57, very, very close. The unit composition for the Terran player TOP is going to be a lot of Marines, 3 Hellions, and 2 tanks, whereas the Zerg player does have Zerglings as well as Roaches. The Roaches are very, very nicely spread out to catch any incoming Hellion. And one Zergling is going to take control of the Zelda Watchtower. He does have the expansion up and running, pretty much a fully functional base, whereas the Terran player only has a handful of SCVs and some mules to help. He does have a good saturation at his base, however, he doesn't really have it at the natural expansion. And the siege tank is being researched, and the siege tech is going to come along as well. So Zelda Tower does get shot down once again. This give a warning to Zenio, and Zenio is going to push forward with those Roaches, wanting to kill off those Hellions, and some Marines and some tanks are going to come from the back. The Roaches are going to disengage a little bit. I guess they sense danger because they expected the Hellions to get to their position by now, unless there's a big blob of units. A scan goes off. He does see some of the Zerglings in the back, and the Roaches are engaging the Hellion, and the Roaches are forced back by the Marines. SCV will be constructing a bunker. He is going to do a really slow push, it looks like. The tanks are sieging up one by one, pushing closer and closer into the base of the Zerg player. The Zerg player is going to be supply block at this moment. The army size is both at 93 exactly. And the Terran player is going to push closer and closer. He is going to siege a tank on the side there, and the Marines are getting ready to fight. And the Hellions are going to come up here, and a lot of Balings are being morphed in. There's going to be a total of 9 Balings, and these Balings don't have the spinny thingy, so they can't really roll very fast. And they're coming in here anyway. The Marines need to spread out. The tanks are taking a lot of damage, but most of the Marines do survive, and he could probably stick another Marine in there if he wants to. And this SCV should probably repair the bunker, as the bunker is on fire. And the Marines and tanks are going to keep pushing forward, as the Glitter Constitution +1 armor, as well as the centrifugal hooks, are going to be researched for the Zerg player Zenio, and the income advantage does stick with Zenio, as he is going to be on 4 gases, whereas the Terran is only on 2, and he's also going to have about 400-500 income on a normal basis, on a regular basis, higher than the Terran player. And the Terran player is slowly pushing up with his tanks. I believe he only has 1 factory, and 4 of those things are barracks, so he only has 1 factory. Another factory is being constructed on the side there, and these tanks are pushing in. The Balings are coming in. If he can shoot the Balings down, these Marines will be okay, but the Marines are exploding, and one of the bunkers will hold up, and the Roaches are going to run away once again from those Marines. The Marines are 0-0 upgraded. The 0-1 upgrade is about to complete for the drones and the Zerg player. Another hatchery going up. He really needs more production, which is exactly what he should do. Marines are pushing off to the side of the base here into the natural expansion. More and more Marines are showing up. These Marines do have STEM in a moment. Oh no, they do not have STEM. They're not researching STEM either. Oh, they do have STEM already. And there's going to be a combat shield, and the lair is being upgraded. He is going to get the one with the transportation, as well as the drop for the Overlords. That will increase his mobility quite a bit, but he really needs to find a way to take care of these tanks. The tanks are sieging in a very nice pattern directly in between the natural expansion and the main base, and some of these Zerglings are coming in, and they're going to get shot at by the tanks. The tanks are just so great here, getting a lot of kills. This tank has 16 kills, one had 6, and one has 1. More and more Balings being morphed in here, and the Marines are getting vision of this lair for the tanks, and the tanks are going to be shooting down the lair. And the Zerg player needs to do something here, as he has a lot of units, but I don't think he'll be enough to take this force on. He has 18 Zerglings and 6 Roaches and 9 Balings versus a ton of tanks. That is 4 tanks already sieged, more tanks on the way, and a lot of Marines. That looks like 5 handfuls of Marines. And the Banelings are getting ready to roll out as, ooh, he actually killed off a lot of his own Marines there. And these Marines are very, very nicely spread out, and he is going to keep them spread out. And he is going to keep on pushing here. He will try to take down the lair. The Queen is being built, and more units are being produced at the moment. Roaches, Banelings, and Zerglings, just everything that he can possibly get. And at this time, the Terran player is actually ahead in terms of the income, whereas the Zerg player is suffering a little bit. He is pulling off some of those drones off the gas line to help him with the minerals that he needs. 18 more Zerglings are coming. I believe he is going to do a push after the 18 Zerglings. 14 Zerglings are going to spawn really soon. And the Marines are still harassing. This Queen is going to get shot at, and he is going to die. And here we go. We see a drop, but a lot of the Overlords don't really have anything. A lot of the Overlords are just bait for the Marines. And they do drop some of the Banelings, and a lot of the Marines and tanks are going to die. I believe the Terran player still has an advantage here, as he is getting slaughtered by these Roaches and Zerglings. And the tanks are doing a lot of damage. This tank has 12 kills. This tank have 5 kills. And I think this is the first time that the Zerg player has broken the Terran player's dominance. And there's one tank moving very slowly backwards. And there's more and more tanks and Marines inside the front part of the Terran space. TOP is retreating with this tank, but I don't think he's going to make it. Army size is going to be at 89 versus 122 advantage for the Terran player, as he has a lot of economy. But it looks like the Zerg is going to be double expanding here. This is the first time he's given any control of the map or let alone for a while by the Terran player. And TOP is going to do a drop here on the side, and he will scan. Oh, he didn't scan yet. He will push forward with some tanks and Marines, but it looks like he is going to fall back. He is going to drop here on the side, and some of the Zerglings are inside that Overlords as well. And there's going to be a drop inside the base of the Zerg player, and this should be no problem, as a lot of those Zerglings as well as Banelings show up, and that medevac will be deterred by these Queens. Oh no, he's coming back, and the medevac is very low on HP. He's at 22 HP. In the meantime, an Overlord is flying to the back of the base of TOP, and he will be dropping a lot of Zerglings, and I think that medevac is going to survive with 6 HP. At the same time, the army is moving out. He forces a cancel on the hatchery over here. His main forces are going forward. He is trying to finish it here, possibly. Some Zerglings and Banelings. The tanks are going to get sieged in the back, and the Marines are going to push forward. Army size is at 118 against 145. A lot more Marines are being made. They already have the 1-1 upgrade. The tanks and the vehicles are getting, ooh, the 1-1 upgrade as well. I mean 1-0 upgrade. The 1-1 is about to finish momentarily, and the +1 attack for the weapons are being researched for the tanks, I mean. And here we see some Mutalisks killing off some of these tanks, while the Marines are sitting idly with their hands folded on their laps, and the Mutalisks do fly back away. And we might see a huge engagement here, as the Mutalisks are staying on the high ground, and they're actually engaging the Marines, which is not a good idea. And the Zerglings come as the tanks are unsieging. He will be able to take down these tanks, no problem. And the Marines are going to go green, and green not in a good way. The Roaches are coming in here, will get taken out. The Marines are getting taken out, and it looks like these SCVs are long distance mining at the moment. He does have a command center that was built not so long ago, and he is going to be floating that off to the near expansion. And a pack of Zerglings and Roaches are pushing forward, but will get driven back by these tanks. I think he should have attacked there. He did had a slight window of a chance, but it is being closed as these tanks are sieging up. There's a drop on the side to an expansion for the Zerg, and he has taken down some of these drones, and it looks like this is actually open. So there was no drop. He just walked right in, I suppose. More and more Marines are being made at the moment. The Marines are going to be 1-1. The tanks are going to be 1-0, as there is a pack of Mutalisks, Zerglings, and Banelings, and ooh, I don't think he wants to go to the watchtower there. He is trying to get the goal. Zenio is trying to go for the goal here, and he is going to attack the middle with a lot of stuff, and the tanks are going to blow up a lot of those Zerglings. Oh no. And those tanks in the back perfectly positioned. One has 7 kills, one has 9 kills just after that first encounter. Great positioning there by the Terran TOP, and a scan goes off, catching a glimpse of Zenio's army, and Zenio is going to go and kill off that one Marine that was bothering him at the natural expansion. I mean, at the expansion. and the Marines are coming in here. He will be able to catch one of... Oh, that is a lot of green stuff. He will be able to catch some of those units off position, and they were just moving and not attacking, and these Zerglings come in and will die off. The tanks are going to be pushing out once again. Army sizes at 81 versus 135. A lot of Marines, a lot of tanks versus an ever-changing composition of Zerg units. He can't seem to find the right composition against this massive Marine and a few tanks composition, and this Mulus is trying to take down the medevac, but not quite getting there. More and more units showing up, and they're shooting at the Mulus that is flying at the middle of the map. A scan goes off. I think he is going to go in here. Tanks are being sieged in the back. 2 tanks in the back, 1 tank in the front, and the Banelings are coming in, and they do manage to take down the tank, but there's more tanks in the back, and these Marines are rushing forward. The Marines are rushing forward with their 1-1 upgrade. The Roaches do have the 0-1, and he's morphing some of them into Banelings. This might be the last stand, as the Roaches are going to stay in the back a little, and the Banelings are coming in, and he kills off a lot of Marines, but that is not enough. And Zenio, GG's. That was really a fun game to watch. Hope you guys enjoy that, and more will be coming in very, very shortly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next game. And don't forget to subscribe. And that is a lot of very confused drones, I suppose.